Hello there, Thrones fans, and welcome to the second episode in our brand new review series. This week we shall be, this video, we shall be reviewing Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 2, which was entitled Stormborn. And just before we start, we need to issue the spoiler alert. If you have not watched this episode, do not watch this video because it will spoil events from last night's show, or from Monday night's show, whenever you're watching this, from Season 7, Episode 2. As I said in the last video, if you've never watched Game of Thrones in your life, what are you doing? Go and watch it now because it's a brilliant show. Unless you're under sort of 15, 16, don't watch it then because there's a lot of sex and a lot of violence, which we will see throughout the course of this episode, actually. Yeah, so I just really want to say, hope you enjoyed this review. Let's get started. So as I said just before the title sequence, this episode was titled Stormborn, and I'm assuming it was because Daenerys was born in a storm, and it was very much centred around Daenerys' plan and the beginning of Daenerys' plan on how to take over the Seven Kingdoms, and also there was a storm that began the episode, and there was also a storm that took place over the final scene of the episode. So it seems that this episode was very much focused on the gathering storm that is basically coming towards Westeros. The storm obviously is representing winter and the sort of ending of all things and every danger, which is obviously what's going to happen in the next few episodes and over the next course of the rest of this season, and also season 8 as well is going to be very much a dangerous season because of all the battles, and the final battle ultimately, which is going to take place for the throne of Westeros, the Great Iron Throne, which looks very uncomfortable, but hey, they all want to fight over it. So my 5 words or under for this week is, I've got 4 words, and this obviously sums up my review, and I've got 4 words which, as I said, a very exciting progression. So first of all, let's take a look at the events in King's Landing. Now Cersei tried to get House Tyrell's bannermen to swear allegiance to her, but they are unsure, just because obviously they're a bit worried of what Cersei's going to do, and really what Olenna's going to do, Olenna Tyrell that is, if they leave her sort of side and go to Cersei's. And Randall Tarly, who is Samwell Tarly's dad, reminds Cersei that Daenerys has 3 dragons, which I don't really think she needs reminding about, because I'm pretty sure that it's obvious that Daenerys has 3 dragons by now. And Jaime convinced Randall to be his general in the war, and promised him the title of the Warden of the South should they win the war together, which obviously is going to be an interesting one. It's an interesting promise to make, because it's not one that Jaime really can promise Randall. It's more that Cersei has to promise that, because obviously she is the queen and Jaime is practically her leader of her army. So I suppose in some ways he is quite powerful, but he's not as powerful as I think he feels that he is. He is basically assuming power that he doesn't have, which is probably quite a worry for Jaime, because that means that Cersei is probably likely to kill him if he has too much power. And Qyburn reveals to Cersei that he has been making a large ballista, or a crossbow. It's a massive crossbow actually, in the dungeons of on the bowels of the Red Keep, which is capable of penetrating dragonbone, which you saw a demonstration of, which was quite interesting. The scene itself was a little bit mundane, but I think the implications of this weapon are going to be felt later on in the season when when Daenerys tries to attack King's Landing. So now we're going to look at Dragonstone. There was a very tense confrontation between Daenerys and Lord Varys, and I actually thought Varys might have been killed by Daenerys, however he wasn't, which was quite a good thing. I thought that scene was really well acted. I just think any scene that Varys is in is just fantastically acted, because he's just a brilliant actor, Con Left Hill. The War Council that Daenerys held was very interesting. The reveal of Daenerys' plan was very unexpected, but it was very cleverly done. The fact that Tyrion sort of explained to the others that they were going to Cassidy Rock to take over the Lannister stronghold. I really felt Tyrion came into his own in this episode. I mean, he's been great all season, throughout the whole series, but this season is really going to be where he is pinnacle moment is, because he's advising Daenerys on the best course of action to take, and if he makes one wrong move, everyone's dead essentially in Daenerys' camp. Now Melisandre's arrival was sort of unexpected, but the prophecy revealed that Daenerys could actually be Azor Ahai, who is, if you don't know, the reincarnation of the Lord of Light, sort of a bit like Jesus, but in Game of Thrones world. It's a bit weird, and she sort of wants, Daenerys now wants Jon to bend the knee to her, which could be a very interesting development if Jon decides. I mean, Jon did decide he's now going to go and visit Daenerys, but we'll talk about that in a bit. And Grey Worm and Missandei's sort of sex scene was really sweet, and it really added another layer of emotion to the series, which is very weird for a sort of a sex scene in this program, because they're often quite animalistic and quite violent, and actually don't really add a lot to the program. They're just sort of a bit there in your face. But this one was really sweet because it added that layer of emotion and really showed that Missandei and Grey Worm love each other, and she's really worried that he's not going to return from Cassidy Rock, and he's worried that he will never get to see her again, which I think is a really, really lovely addition to the show that I really, really support. So in the Riverlands, which are being represented by the twins on your screen, Arya learns that Jon has taken Winterfell from Hot Pie, which was really good to see Hot Pie again. I really liked seeing him. It was good to show that he isn't just disappeared, and that they haven't just forgotten about some of these characters they introduced 2-3 seasons ago. And she's begun to head north, so she's completely changed her plan from trying to kill Cersei. She now wants to head north to Winterfell to be reunited with Jon and Sansa, I assume. But she got surrounded by wolves on the way there, who is actually led by, the wolf pack is led by Nymeria, who, if you remember back to season 1, episode 3 or 4, she actually sent Nymeria away because Nymeria was going to be killed by Ned, because obviously Nymeria attacked Joffrey. If you remember that massive skirmish back in season 1, it was a long time ago, I know. But unfortunately, the direwolf didn't actually recognise her, or if she did recognise her, it was very sad because she didn't want to go back to Winterfell with her. But I suppose they both can't be tamed, which is sort of the message that they were going for. I think HBO was that, or in this program, Game of Thrones was going for there, was that actually both characters are both wild. They're both quite violent characters, but they also have that emotional touch that they can both bring to each other. They really connect with each other, but they just don't want to be tamed, and they don't want to be brought back under a home environment too quickly. So I think the fact that Nymeria didn't go with Arya and doesn't want to go with Arya shows that she's actually a wild animal and cannot be tamed at all, whereas Arya's been called by that family instinct to want to go and be with Jon. Really the only family member she ever really got along with really well was Jon, even though despite him being a bastard, or actually R plus L equals J, you know, that theory that is actually come true, that actually he's not Stark at all, so it could be why she gets on better with him than any others. But you know, it was just a really lovely, heartbreaking scene at the same time, which I really love. And then we look at Winterfell, which is where Sansa was dealt in Tyrion's letters to Jon, which again a bit annoyed me, because Sansa knows Tyrion really well, and for goodness sake, she was married to him for a while. She must know his handwriting by now, and that really annoyed me that she doubted Tyrion's honesty and loyalty to her and to Jon. Jon informs the Northern Lords about the letters that he's received, both from Daenerys from Tyrion, and also from Cersei last episode. And they advise basically that Jon shouldn't leave Winterfell, but he basically ignores their advice and leaves Sansa in charge, which I thought was quite a surprising development, because I thought he wasn't going to leave Sansa in charge, because all she's done really since he's been back and since he's been king in the North is moan. But I suppose that's probably why he's done it, to stop her from moaning. So there we go, we've got Sansa in charge of Winterfell now. We'll have to see how that plays out. Littlefinger approached Jon in the crypts of Winterfell, and Jon almost strangled him, which was quite a tense scene actually. And he also promised to kill Littlefinger if he lays his hands on Sansa, because he said he loves Sansa as he loved Catelyn, which was a bit creepy, and I really don't like Littlefinger. I just want Littlefinger to die now, because he's just really, really creepy. And then we're going to take a brief look at Old Town. There wasn't really much going on in Old Town this week, so I'm just going to focus on the main bit that happened, which was Sam trying to heal Jorah's grayscale. It was really disgusting, but it was really also quite interesting that, you know, to see that Sam is obviously learning from what he's reading. He's looking at it, he's going, oh, this could work, and he's trying it out, and he's not afraid anymore. I don't think he's quite the same boy that came to Castle Black back in season 1. He's a lot more confident in himself, he's a lot more sure of himself, and I think I just want to know really, will it cure Jorah? That's the question I'm asking myself. That was the question I was asking myself watching that moment. Will it cure him or will it kill him? Really, that's the only thing that's going to happen now. So yeah, that's just a little thought that I had, and I'm still pondering over it now, and I suppose we'll have to just wait and see how the rest of the season plays out with Jorah and Sam. So before we wrap up this review, let's look at the ending, which happened in the Narrow Sea. Although they showed Pike on the title sequence, which actually was a bit odd, because Pike is actually around the other end of Westeros. Pike is over on the left-hand side if you're looking at the map, and actually the Narrow Sea where this ending happens on the right. So Yara, Theon, Ellaria and the Sand Snakes were attacked by the Iron Fleet. We had another sort of kiss scene between Yara and Ellaria, which was a very random scene actually. That bit was a bit odd, but the attack by the Iron Fleet was so well put together. It was really well filmed. It was shot in the dark, which gave it another layer of like eeriness and darkness. And it really brought out the fear that obviously the Iron Fleet was installing in them. Obara and Nymeria Sand were killed by Euron, so that's two of the Sand Snakes that have been killed. Tyene, who's the other Sand Snake, and Ellaria, her mother, or Oberyn's paramour, have been taken hostage. It was all very rushed actually, the end bit. Like the actual attack was really good, but it just felt a little bit rushed, but I suppose they're probably saving the budget for a later battle that's probably going to take place. I have a feeling we've got like 2 more major battles or something in this season alone, which just makes me feel quite excited to see what's going to happen. Yara was also sort of taken hostage by Euron. He held a blade to her throat and basically said to Theon, you know, if you want your sister, come and get her. Theon was a coward and jumped over the boat. He swam away. It really annoyed me the fact that that happened, because I thought we were just getting the Theon back that we know and that we sort of do love, I suppose, in a way. The actual one who cared for his family, who really wanted to help his sister out. But I suppose he's so scarred by the fact that by the whole Reek affair, that we're never actually going to see the original Theon back again. He's never going to be that confident, cocky, young man that we saw throughout seasons 1 and 2. He is now Ramsay's pet, essentially. He's still got that frame of mind where he can't quite understand even just basic pleading, human pleading, which is a bit, I don't know. It was very odd, and I didn't really enjoy that. I really just felt really angry at Theon. So I'm hoping that we get to see what happens to Yara throughout the rest of the season. I hope she doesn't get killed. Because I really like Yara as a character, and same with Ellaria and Ellaria especially. She's a really good character, so I hope they don't die. So my overall conclusion for this week's episode then, it was a much better episode than episode 1. It had more exciting developments, and it had the season's first major battle, which was really amazing, and it was really well shot as well, I thought, despite the fact that it was at night. Which brings me to my overall rating, which this week I've given an 8.5 out of 10. Obviously it's not perfect. I don't think so far this season has not been a perfect season, and actually I prefer season 6 overall. But this is only 2 episodes in. We still have 5 more episodes to go. Next week's the preview for next week's episode looks amazing. If you haven't watched that, after watching this episode, go and watch that. It looks brilliant. If you're interested. Basically, yeah, I'm just really looking forward to next week's episode. Let me know what you thought about all the events of this episode in the comments below. If you think any different from me, if you agree with me, let me know what you think. And also, yeah, just thank you very much for watching. I will see you all next week's episode, which is episode 3. I think it's called The Queen's Justice, so we don't know if that's about Cersei or Daenerys, but we'll have to see. If it's The Queen's Justice and it's about Daenerys, it might be that she's getting revenge for this week's events. That could be quite interesting to see that happen. Will she change her plans? Will she finally get the throne that she wants? Will Cersei kill her? Will Cersei kill everyone? Who knows what's going to happen next? I'm just really looking forward to seeing what happens. So yeah, once again, thank you very much for watching this review, and I will see you all next week. Goodbye.